In the cold dark between stars, where light took years to travel and silence swallowed sound, a broken ship drifted. Its name had once been proud Starlight's End, but now it was little more than twisted metal and fading hope. Inside, alone in the flickering red glow of emergency light, sat Leela. She was not human. Her skin shimmered like polished silver, her eyes large and violet, filled with a quiet kind of sorrow. She was Kailari, a warrior people known across the galaxy for their living armor and their grace in battle. But Lila was no warrior now. She was dying. The Kailari women were born with a gift and a curse. Woven into their very flesh was a symbiotic armor, alive and aware. It protected them, gave them strength, let them breathe in vacuum and walk through fire. But it demanded something in return. To stay stable, the armor needed a bond. Not just any bond. It needed a deep, true connection with a human male. No other species would work. No machine, no clone, no trick of science. Only a real human heart, open and willing, could calm the armor's hunger. Lila had known this since she was a child. She had trained for years in diplomacy, learning human languages, customs, even their music. She dreamed of meeting someone on a peaceful colony world, building trust slowly, maybe even love. But war had come too fast. The Starlight's End had been on a mission of peace, carrying messages between the Kailari Council and the United Earth Alliance. Lila's assigned partner was a young officer named Daniel. Kind eyes, steady hands, a laugh that made her feel safe. They had only spoken for 3 days before the raiders struck. It happened without warning. One moment, the ship hummed with calm routine. The next, alarms screamed and the hull tore open like paper. Lila had been in the observation deck when the blast hit. She saw Daniel's shuttle explode on the view screen, caught in the crossfire. There was no time to mourn. She sealed the bulkheads, activated the emergency beacon, and dragged herself to the bridge. But the damage was too great. The engines were dead, life support failing, and she was alone. Now, hours later, the pain had begun. It started as a dull ache in her bones, then grew sharper, like glass shards moving under her skin. She looked down at her arms. Thin cracks had appeared, glowing faintly with blue light. The armor was turning on her. Without a human bond, it would consume her from the inside out. She had maybe 12 hours left. She tried the comms again. Static. The beacon still pulsed its weak signal into the void. But who would hear it? This sector was empty. No trade routes, no colonies, just wreckage and forgotten battles. Still, she kept it on. Hope was all she had. Her breath came in short gasps. She stumbled to the medbay, leaning against the wall for support. In a broken mirror, she saw her reflection. Pale, trembling, her silver skin webbed with glowing fractures. Tears welled in her eyes, but Kailari did not cry easily. She blinked them away and sat on the cold floor, hugging her knees. Then, a sound. Faint at first, almost lost in the groan of dying metal, but real. The low hum of engines. Her heart leapt. She dragged herself back to the bridge, every step agony. Through the cracked main viewer, she saw it. A small freighter, battered and old, dropping out of warp nearby. Its hull was patched with mismatched plates, and its name, Sarah's Hope, was barely visible under layers of space dust. A human ship. Alone. Possibly crewed by just one person. The freighter slowed, matching the cruiser's drift. A docking tether extended with a soft thud. Lila's hands shook as she opened the airlock from the bridge. She crawled down the corridor to the entrance bay. By the time she reached it, she could barely stand. The inner door hissed open. A young woman stepped through. She wore a faded flight jacket, boots scuffed from years of use, and had grease smudged on her cheek. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy knot, and her eyes, brown and sharp, widened at the sight of Lila. "You're Kailari," the woman said, voice low with surprise. "I thought your people never traveled alone." Lila nodded weakly. "I was not alone. My partner, gone." She swayed, and the woman caught her before she fell. "Whoa, easy," the woman said, her voice gentle. "You're burning up. And your skin, it's cracking." Lila looked down. The glowing lines had spread to her neck. "The armor," she whispered. "It is failing. Without a human bond, it will kill me." The woman's eyes narrowed in thought. "A bond like emotional? Or physical?" "Both," Lila admitted. "It is not just biology. The armor senses truth. It must feel real care, real choice. Not force. Not fear." The woman bit her lip. "My name's Mia. I'm just a freight hauler. I deliver parts to mining stations. I don't know anything about Kalari rituals. You do not need to, Lila said. You only need to be here. And willing. Mia studied her for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. Tell me what to do. They moved to the cargo hold of the Sarah's Hope. Mia helped Lila onto a folded tarp, then sat beside her. The freighter's interior was cramped but clean, filled with crates and tools. A small heater hummed in the corner, casting a warm glow. Start talking, Mia said. Tell me something real, so Lila did. She spoke of her homeworld, a place of crystal forests and singing winds. She told Mia about Kalari children learning to weave light into cloth, about elders who could read stars like books. She spoke of Daniel, how he had shown her earth music, how he laughed when she tried to eat spicy food and nearly choked. Mia listened, then shared her own stories. She grew up on Titan Colony, raised by her grandmother after her parents died in a fuel explosion. She bought the Sarah's Hope with her first savings, named it after her sister who dreamed of the stars but never left the ground. She talked about the loneliness of deep space, about talking to her ship like it was a friend. Hours passed. The pain in Lila's body lessened just a little. The glowing cracks dimmed. The armor was listening. But it needed more. It needed proof that Maya truly cared. Maya seemed to understand. She reached out and took Lila's hand. I'm not going anywhere, she said. You're not alone anymore. Lila closed her eyes. Warmth spread through her chest. The armor responded, not with pain but with a soft hum like a lullaby. The cracks began to seal, the silver skin smoothing over. Her breathing slowed. She opened her eyes and looked at Mia with wonder. It is working, she whispered. You are enough, Mia smiled, though her eyes were tired. Guess I'm your partner now. But their moment of peace shattered with a sudden alarm. Red lights flashed on the freighter's console. Mia jumped up and ran to the bridge. Lila followed, her steps stronger now on the scanner. 3 ships appeared. Sharp, jagged shapes with no transponder codes. Raiders. The same ones who had destroyed the Starlight's End. They tracked the beacon, Mia muttered. Stupid of me to leave it on. They will not take us, Lila said, her voice steady. Mia glanced at her. You can fight? With the armor, yes. But I cannot pilot and aim at once. Mia grinned. Then you shoot. I'll fly. The Sarah's Hope shuddered as Mia fired the thrusters. The old freighter spun hard to port, dodging the first energy blast. Lila ran to the dorsal turret, her armor already shifting, forming plates over her shoulders and arms. It glowed softly, syncing with the ship's weapons system. Target locked, Lila called. Fire when ready, Mia yelled over the roar of engines. A bolt of blue energy shot from the turret, striking the lead raider in the engine core. The ship exploded in a silent bloom of fire. Nice shot, Mia said, weaving through debris. The second raider fired. The Sarah's Hope rocked violently. A console sparked and died. We're losing shield power, Mia warned. Then we end this fast, Lila replied. She fired again. The second raider veered off, trailing smoke. But the third came in close, firing relentlessly. A shot tore through the freighter's rear engine array. Alarms blared. We're dead in the water, Mia said, her voice tight. Lila looked at the last raider on the screen. It was circling, preparing to board. She made a decision. I will board them, she said. What? How? The armor has a jump function. Short range. I can breach their hull. Mia stared at her. That's suicide. It is our only chance. Mia hesitated, then nodded. Do it, I'll keep the lights on. Lila climbed into the airlock. The armor flared bright white as she activated the jump sequence. With a burst of energy, she launched herself into the void. The raider was only 200 meters away. She hit its hull like a meteor, her armored fist punching through metal. Inside, chaos. The raider crew, brutish, insect-like beings, turned in shock. Lila moved like lightning. Her armor enhanced every strike. One raider fell with a crushed chest. Another screamed as her blade, formed from her own forearm, sliced through his neck. She disabled the weapons console, then the life support. Within minutes, the ship was silent. Exhausted, she activated her recall beacon. Mia, using the last of the maneuvering thrusters, brought the Sarah's Hope close enough to retrieve her. Lila tumbled back into the airlock, her armor dimming to a soft glow. Back in the cargo hold, Mia handed her a canteen of water. You're insane, she said. But she was smiling. You are not wrong, Lila replied, drinking slowly. They sat in silence for a while, listening to the creaks of the damaged ship. Outside, the stars watched, cold and endless. Finally, Mia spoke. So what now? Lila looked at her. The bond is real. The armor has accepted you. I cannot return to my people without a partner, and I do not wish to. Mia raised an eyebrow. You're stuck with a freight jockey who can't cook? You are more than that, Lila said softly. You are my anchor. My choice, Mia. The Sarah's Hope limped toward the nearest human station, its engines patched with spare parts and hope. Inside, Lila sat in the co-pilot seat, her silver skin now smooth and calm, the living armor resting just beneath the surface like a quiet breath. Mia flew with one hand on the controls, the other holding a dented mug of coffee. The silence between them was comfortable, not empty. They had survived the raiders, but new dangers waited ahead. The station they approached, Gamma 9, was not a friendly port. It was a fringe outpost, lawless and rough, filled with smugglers, bounty hunters, and worse, but it was the only place within range that had the parts Mia needed to fix the freighter's core. We'll be there in 2 hours, Mia said, glancing at Lila. You okay with crowds? Gamma 9's not exactly a tourist spot. Lila nodded. I have trained for hostile environments, and I am with you. Mia smiled faintly. Just stay close, and if anyone gives you trouble, let me talk first. Your armor might scare them, or attract the wrong kind of attention. As they docked, the station's airlock hissed open with a groan. The corridor beyond was dim, lit by flickering bulbs and smelling of oil and sweat. Humans and aliens of all kinds moved past, eyes-sharp hands near weapons. Lila kept her posture relaxed but alert, her violet eyes scanning every shadow. Mia led the way to the main market, a maze of stalls selling everything from engine coils to stolen data chips. They needed a phase regulator, rare and expensive. Mia haggled with a grizzled vendor while Lila stood nearby. Arms crossed, her presence enough to keep most loiterers away. But trouble found them anyway. 3 figures stepped out from behind a stack of crates. They wore mismatched armor and carried pulse rifles. Their leader, a tall man with a scar across his nose, smirked at Mia. Well, Mia Rogan, didn't think you'd show your face here after skipping out on that debt. Mia stiffened. I paid you, Jax. In full. Not according to my ledger, Jack said, stepping closer. And now you've got yourself an alien pet. Pretty thing. Worth a lot on the black market. Lila's eyes narrowed. Her armor rippled faintly under her skin, sensing threat. She's not for sale, Mia said, voice low and hard. And I suggest you walk away, Jax laughed. Or what, you'll throw a wrench at me? Before Mia could answer, Lila moved. Not with violence, but with presence. She stepped between Maya and Jax, standing tall, her silver skin catching the dim light. She did not speak. She simply looked at him, her violet eyes steady and unblinking. Jax faltered. Something in her gaze made his hand twitch. He'd heard stories. Kalari warriors didn't bluff. If she fought, his men wouldn't last 10 seconds. Fine, he muttered. But watch your back, Mia. Debts don't disappear. He and his men backed off, melting into the crowd. Mia let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Thanks, she said quietly. You protect me, Lila replied. I protect you. That is the bond. They found the phase regulator at a quiet stall run by an old woman named Elena. She took one look at Lila and nodded slowly. Kalari, she said. Rare to see one so far from the core worlds. We're just passing through, Mia said. Elena handed her the part. Take it. No charge. What, why? Because you've got her with you, Elena said, glancing at Lila. And anyone who earns a Kalari's trust is worth helping. Mia didn't argue. She thanked the woman and they returned to the ship. Back aboard, Lila helped Mia install the new regulator. Her knowledge of energy systems surprised Mia. Kalari tech was advanced, but she adapted quickly to human engineering. Together, they got the core humming again, steady and strong. That night, as the station lights dimmed outside, they sat in the mess nook sharing a simple meal of rehydrated stew and crackers. Lila tried the stew and made a face. Too salty? Mia asked, laughing. It is intense, Lila said carefully. But I will learn to like it. Mia leaned back. You know, most people would have panicked back there with Jax. But you just stood there like a statue. Fear is useful, Lila said. But showing it gives power to the enemy. My people believe silence speaks louder than threats. Mia nodded. I like that. They talked for hours about Earth, about Kalari traditions, about what came next. Layla admitted she had no home to return to. Her clan was scattered, her mission failed. Mia confessed she'd been running for years, never staying in one place too long. afraid of getting too close to anyone. But now, Mia said softly, I don't feel like running. Neither do I, Lila replied. The next morning, they prepared to leave Gamma 9. But as Mia powered up the engines, a priority alert flashed on the comm screen. It was an emergency broadcast from the United Earth Alliance. All vessels in Sector Gamma 9, a calm voice said. Be advised, a Kalari warship has entered the system. It is not responding to hails. Repeat, a Kalari warship is inbound. Exercise extreme caution. Lila went very still. That's impossible, she whispered. Why? Mia asked. The Kalari fleet was recalled weeks ago after the peace treaty. No warship should be here unless... Her voice trailed off. Unless someone had broken ranks. Minutes later, the warship appeared on the view screen. Sleek, black, and bristling with weapons, it dwarfed the Sarah's Hope. Its markings were familiar. House Viral, one of the oldest and most rigid Kalari clans. And at its helm, Lila knew, would be Commander Kale, her former betrothed. Kale had been chosen for her when they were children, a political match to unite two powerful houses. But Lila had refused him. She believed bonds should be chosen, not forced. Kale saw it as betrayal. He had sworn to bring her back by any means. He's here for me, Lila said, her voice tight. Then we run, Mia said, already plotting a jump course. He will chase us. His ship is faster. And if he catches us, she looked at Mia, he will not see you as my partner. He will see you as an obstacle. Before Mia could respond, the warship hailed them. On screen, Kyle appeared. Tall, silver-skinned like Lila, but his eyes were cold, his expression hard. Lila of House Myron, he said. You have shamed your bloodline. Return now and your human companion may live. I chose my path, Lila replied, standing tall. And I chose her. Kale's gaze flicked to Mia, full of contempt. A freight hauler? You bind your fate to this. Nothing? She is more than you will ever be, Lila said. Kale's face darkened. Then you leave me no choice. The transmission cut. Alarms blared. The warship was powering weapons. Hold on, Mia yelled, slamming the throttle forward. The Sarah's Hope shot out of the station, engines screaming. Behind them, the warship gave chase, closing the distance fast. We can't outrun him, Mia said, sweat on her brow. But maybe we can outthink him. She veered toward a nearby asteroid field, dense, unstable, and full of magnetic interference. Perfect for hiding. Lila watched the rear scanner. He is following. But he does not know these rocks like we do. For hours, they danced through the asteroids, Mia using every trick she knew, cutting engines to drift silently, bouncing signals off metallic rocks to fake their position. Kale's ship fired blindly, blasts lighting up the dark. Then, an idea struck Lila. Mia, she said suddenly, do you trust me? Always, Mia replied without hesitation. Then let me try something. The armor, it can emit a pulse, strong enough to disrupt sensors, but I must be outside the ship. Mia's eyes widened. In the asteroid field? That's crazy. It is our only chance. Reluctantly, Mia agreed. She found a narrow canyon between two large asteroids and shut down all non-essential systems. Leela suited up, though her armor could survive vacuum, and stepped into the airlock. Once outside, she floated silently among the rocks. She focused, drawing energy from the bond she shared with Mia. Warmth filled her chest. The armor glowed bright, then released a silent pulse of energy. On the warship, every screen went dark. Sensors scrambled. Kale cursed, blinded. Inside the Sarah's Hope, Mia saw her chance. She fired the engines and shot out of the canyon, heading straight for a nearby nebula, a place where even the best scanners failed. By the time Kale regained control, they were gone. Exhausted, Lila returned to the ship. Mia helped her out of the suit, her hands gentle. You did it, Mia said. We did it, Lila corrected. They drifted into the heart of the nebula, surrounded by swirling clouds of gas and light. For the first time in days, they were safe. Lila looked at Mia. Kyle will not stop. He sees me as property, as shame. Then we keep moving, Mia said. Together, Lila smiled. Together. As the Sarah's Hope vanished into the colorful mist, two women, one human, one alien, sat side by side, not as fugitives, but as partners. The galaxy was vast, but they had each other, and that was enough. Deep inside the violet haze of the Orion Veil Nebula, the Sarah's Hope floated in silence. The ship's lights were dimmed, engines off. all signals muted. Outside, clouds of ionized gas swirled like slow-motion storms, hiding them from scanners and eyes alike. Inside, Mia and Lila sat in the cockpit wrapped in blankets, sipping hot broth from chipped mugs. They had escaped Kale, for now. But both knew he would not give up. His pride was wounded, his honor at stake. To him, Lila was not a person with choices. She was a symbol, a piece on a board, and he would hunt her across the stars if he had to. "We can't stay here forever," Mia said softly, watching the nebula's colors shift beyond the glass. "No," Lila agreed, "but we do not need to hide forever. We need a plan." Mia turned to her. "What do you suggest?" Lila set her mug down. "Kyle answers to the Kylery High Council. If we can prove our bond is true, not forced, not false, but real and willing, the Council will order him to stand down. They honor choice above all. How do we prove that?" Mia asked. "There is a place," Lila said. "The Sanctuary of Veils. It is a neutral world hidden near the galactic rim. The elders there can test the bond. If it passes, even Kale must obey." Mia raised an eyebrow. "And how far is this sanctuary?" 3 jumps. But the path is dangerous. It passes through the Shattered Zone, a graveyard of dead ships and broken laws. Mia grinned. "Sounds like our kind of road." They spent the next day repairing the last damage from the chase. Lila used her armor's energy to weld cracked panels, while Mia recalibrated the nav computer. They worked in quiet rhythm, no words needed. The bond between them had grown stronger, not just in survival but in trust. When the ship was ready, they plotted the course. First jump, to the edge of the Shattered Zone. Second, through the ghost belt where old war drones still patrolled. Third, to the sanctuary. The first jump went smoothly. They emerged near a field of derelict vessels, hulls from 100 forgotten battles drifting like bones in a desert. Mia navigated carefully, avoiding debris that could tear through their hull. But halfway through, the sensors pinged. Something was moving among the wrecks. "Not natural," Mia muttered. "Too fast." A moment later, 3 sleek interceptors dropped from behind a dead carrier. No markings, no hails. "Just weapons charging scavengers," Lila said. "They strip ships and sell the parts." "Or the crew. Great," Mia sighed. "Just what we needed." The interceptors opened fire. Plasma bolts streaked past the Sarah's Hope. Mia banked hard, weaving through the wreckage. Lila manned the turret, her armor syncing with the targeting system. "Left flank," Lila called. "He's lining up a shot." Mia spun the ship, dodging just in time. Lila fired. One interceptor exploded in a flash of orange. "Nice," Mia said. "They are learning our pattern," Lila warned. Sure enough, the remaining 2 split up, flanking them. One fired an EMP burst. The Sarah's Hope shuddered as lights flickered and systems rebooted. "We're blind for 10 seconds, Mia yelled. Lila made a decision. "I will go out." "What?" "In this mess, the armor can survive, and I can disable their engines from close range." Before Mia could argue, Lila was in the airlock. She launched herself into the debris field, using chunks of metal as cover. The scavengers didn't see her coming. She landed on the first interceptor, her armored fingers punching through the hull. She ripped out the power conduit. The ship went dark, spinning away. The second turned, firing wildly. Lila dodged, leaping from one wreck to another like a ghost. She landed on its wing, tore open the cockpit, and stunned the pilot with a pulse from her armor. Within minutes, the threat was gone. Back aboard, Mia helped her inside. "You're insane," she said, but her voice was full of pride. "You would have done the same," Lila replied. They pressed on, reaching the ghost belt by the next cycle. Here, ancient war drones, left over from the Titan conflict, still patrolled, programmed to destroy any unauthorized ship. The only way through was to mimic a military signal. Luckily, Mia had a trick. Years ago, she'd salvaged a data core from a downed Alliance scout. It still held old clearance codes. "This might work," she said, plugging it in. The ship broadcast the signal. For a tense minute, nothing happened. Then the drones moved aside, granting passage. "You're full of surprises," Lila said. "Freight haulers learn to keep secrets." Mia smiled. Finally, they reached the third jump point. The coordinates led them to a small blue-green world, hidden behind a ring of asteroids. No cities, no ports, just forests, mountains, and a single stone temple at the center of a calm lake. This was the Sanctuary of Veils. As they landed on a mossy clearing, an elder emerged from the trees. She was Kalari, older than Lila, her silver skin etched with glowing tattoos of wisdom. Her eyes held no judgment, only quiet knowing. Lila of House Mirren, the elder said. You have brought your bondmate. I have, Lila replied. And I ask for the trial of truth. The elder nodded. So it shall be. The trial was simple but deep. Mia and Lila were led into the temple, to a circular chamber with a pool of still water at its center. The elder explained. They would each step into the pool. If their bond was true, the water would glow with shared light. If false, it would turn black and Lila would be taken back to the council. No tricks, no lies, just truth. Mia looked at Lila. I'm scared, she admitted. So am I, Lila said. But not of the water, only of losing you. They held hands and stepped in. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a soft light rose from the depths, gold and violet swirling together like twin stars. It filled the chamber warm and bright. The elder smiled. The bond is true, she said. Freely given. Deeply held. No Kalari may challenge it. Relief washed over them. But before they could speak, the ground shook. Outside engines roared. Kale had found them. His warship hovered above the trees, weapons aimed at the temple. He stepped out, flanked by guards, his face twisted in fury. You think a ritual changes anything? He snarled. She is mine by blood law. Blood law ends where choice begins, the elder said calmly. The trial has spoken. Stand down, Kale. I answer to no temple witch, he spat. He raised his hand. Take her. His guards moved forward. Lila stepped in front of Mia. You will not touch her, Kale laughed. Your little freighter cannot save you here. But he was wrong. From the trees, figures emerged. Not Kalari, but humans. Miners, traders, pilots. All people Mia had helped over the years. They carried tools, old rifles, even wrenches, but they stood together. You picked the wrong planet to start a fight, one man said. Kale hesitated. He had not expected allies. Then from the sky, more ships appeared. Not warships, freighters, tugs, survey vessels. The message had spread. Mia's friends had come. Kale looked around, outnumbered, outmaneuvered. His pride warred with sense. Finally, he lowered his hand. This is not over, he said to Lila. It is, she replied, because I choose it to be. He turned and left, his ship vanishing into the clouds. Silence returned to the sanctuary. The elder approached them. You have proven more than bond, she said. You have shown unity between our kinds. That is rare and precious. Mia and Lila stayed at the sanctuary for 3 days, healing, resting, talking. The elder taught Lila old songs. Mia helped repair the temple's solar panels. They walked by the lake at dawn, hands clasped, saying little but feeling everything. On the 4th day, they prepared to leave. Where to now? Mia asked as they boarded the Sarah's Hope. Lila looked at the stars through the viewport. Wherever we are needed. Wherever we choose. Mia started the engines. Then let's go find it. As the ship lifted off, the sanctuary below glowed softly in the morning light. Ahead lay unknown systems, new dangers, fresh wonders. But they were no longer running. They were flying forward together. The galaxy was vast, but they had each other. And in that truth, they found freedom. The Sarah's Hope sailed through quiet space far from war zones and raiders. Its hull still bore scars, but its heart, its crew, was whole. Mia flew with ease now, her hands light on the controls. Lila sat beside her, studying star charts on a small screen, her violet eyes calm. They had a new purpose, not just to survive, but to help. Word had spread across the fringe worlds. A Kalari woman and a human freighter pilot were traveling together, offering aid where others turned away. They fixed broken water purifiers on dry colonies. They delivered medicine to outposts cut off by storms. They stood between bullies and the helpless. No grand speeches, no flags, just action. One evening, as they drifted near the Ceres belt, a faint signal reached them. It was weak, broken by static, but clear enough. Any ship, please. We're under attack. Children on board? Mia exchanged a look with Lila. Without a word, they changed course. They found the source near asteroid G7, a small colony transport, its engines dark, hull pitted with laser burns. 3 pirate skiffs circled it like vultures preparing to board. They're going after the cargo hold, Mia said, scanning the ship. That's where the kids are, Lila stood. We stopped them. This time they did not hide. The Sarah's Hope powered up fully, lights blazing, comms open. Mia hailed the pirates. This is Captain Mia Rogan of the Sarah's Hope. Back off now, the lead pirate laughed. Or what, Hauler? You gonna throw spare bolts at us? No, Mia said. But she will. Lila stepped into view on the external cam. Her armor shimmered, fully active, glowing with soft blue light. Every pirate on the skiffs froze. They knew what a Kylari warrior looked like. Last chance, Lila said, her voice calm but firm. The pirates hesitated, then fled. They weren't paid enough to fight that. Mia docked with the transport. Inside, they found 20 children ages 5 to 12 huddled in the cargo bay with 2 terrified teachers. Their colony had been hit by quakes. This ship was their evacuation, until the pirates struck. Lila knelt beside a small boy who was crying. She did not speak, just placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. The boy looked up, eyes wide at her silver skin, but he stopped crying. Something in her presence felt safe. Maya worked with the teachers to get the ship's systems running again. Lila stayed with the children, telling them a KLRE story about a lost star that found its way home. Her voice was soft, musical. The kids listened, wide-eyed. Once the transport was stable, Mia contacted the nearest Alliance station. Help would arrive in 6 hours. As they prepared to leave, one of the teachers handed Lila a small drawing. It showed 2 figures, one silver, one brown-haired, standing under a big sun, holding hands. From Leo, the teacher said, nodding to the boy. He says you're his heroes. Lila's eyes softened. She tucked the drawing into her tunic close to her heart. Back aboard the Sarah's Hope, Mia watched her. You're good with them. They reminded me of home, Lila said quietly. Before the wars. They flew on, answering calls, fixing what was broken, protecting the weak. Along the way, they picked up small things. A new blanket from a grateful trader. A data chip of Earth music from a lonely engineer. Seeds from a botanist who said they bloomed in zero gravity. One night, while orbiting a quiet moon, Mia asked, "Do you ever miss your old life? The councils, the ceremonies, the big ships?" Lila thought for a long time. "I miss the stars of my home, the songs, but not the rules that said I could not choose my own path. Here with you, I am more myself than I ever was." Mia smiled. Me too. Their peace did not last. A week later, an official Alliance message reached them. It was marked urgent, sealed with the High Council's symbol. Lila opened it with trembling hands. The message was short. The Kalari High Council had declared a new law. All Kalari women must return to their homeworld for bond verification. Those found with non-approved partners would be separated. Permanently. They're calling it a unity measure, Lila said, voice tight. But it is control, disguised as care. Mia's face hardened. They can't do that. They can. And they will. Unless we act. Lila explained that the law could be challenged, but only at the Grand Conclave on Kalar Prime, the Kalari homeworld, and only if a human partner stood with her in person. It's a trap, Mia said. Kale will be there. Maybe others who hate what we are. Yes, Lila admitted. But if we do not go, the law stands. And every Kalari woman like me will lose her choice, her freedom. Mia looked at her. Then we go. The journey to Kalar Prime took 10 days. The planet was beautiful. Tall crystal spires, rivers of liquid light, skies that shifted color with the mood of the people. But the air felt heavy with expectation. They landed at the Conclave Plaza, surrounded by silent Kailari watchers. Some looked curious, others cold. Kale stood at the top of the steps, arms crossed, a smirk on his face. The conclave chamber was vast, filled with elders from every house. At the center stood the trial stone, a smooth black disk that would test truth. The head elder, a woman named Vera, spoke. Lila of House Mirren, you challenged the unity law. To do so, your bond must be proven before all. Step forward. Mia and Lila walked to the stone. The room fell silent. Place your hands upon it, Vera said. If your bond is true, the stone will glow. If not, it will remain dark, and you will be parted. They did as asked. Nothing happened. A murmur rose in the crowd. Kale smiled. Then, slowly, a single point of light appeared beneath their hands. It grew, spreading outward in golden rings. The stone did not just glow, it sang. A low, resonant hum that filled the chamber, vibrating in every chest. Gasps echoed. Even the elders leaned forward. Vera's eyes widened. The stone has not sung in 300 cycles. She turned to the council. The bond is not only true, it is rare. A bridge between species. To break it would be to break something sacred. Kyle stepped forward. This is trickery. Humans cannot. Silence, Vera commanded. The stone does not lie. She faced Mia and Lila. You have done more than prove your bond. You have shown a new way. The unity laws revoked. Cheers rose from a few younger Kylari in the crowd. Others remained still, but their eyes held new thought. Afterward, Vera met them outside. Stay, she said. Teach us. Not just about humans, but about choice. About trust. Lila looked at Mia. Mia nodded. They stayed for a month. Lila spoke with young Kalari women sharing her story. Mia worked with engineers showing how human and Kalari tech could work together. They walked the crystal forests, ate strange fruits, watched the twin moons rise. One evening, as they sat on a balcony overlooking the city, Maya said, I never thought I'd be here, on an alien world, helping change laws. And I never thought I'd find someone who saw me, not as a duty but as a person. Lila replied, They returned to the Sarah's Hope, not as fugitives, but as messengers. Their ship carried new hope, not just for them but for others like them. As they left orbit, Kalar Prime glowing below, Mia set a course for the outer rim. There were more calls to answer, more lives to touch. Lila watched the stars appear one by one. She was no longer doomed. She was free. And she was not alone. Beside her, Mia reached over and took her hand. No words were needed. The bond spoke for itself, and in the quiet hum of the ship under the endless sky they flew on, together. Months passed, and the Sarah's Hope became a legend in the outer systems, not for weapons or speed, but for kindness. Wherever there was trouble, a failing oxygen plant, a lost scout ship, a village under threat, someone would whisper, Send for Mia and Layla. And they would come. They were no longer just a freighter and its crew. They were a promise. One cold cycle. They received a message from a remote ice world called Frosthold. The signal was weak, the voice trembling. Our reactor is failing. Heat is dropping. We have children. Please, if anyone hears this. Mia didn't hesitate. She plotted the course before the message even ended. Lila checked their supplies, extra blankets, thermal suits, medkits. They knew Frosthold had no port, no landing pad, just ice and wind. When they arrived, the planet was a white blur beneath thick clouds. Sensors showed the colony buried under snow. Its dome cracked, lights flickering. Temperature outside -80. We'll have to land on the glacier, Mia said, guiding the ship down with steady hands. The Sarah's Hope touched down with a crunch. They suited up and stepped out into the storm. Wind howled like a living thing, ice stinging their visors. Lila's armor adjusted instantly, warming her from within. Mia relied on her gear and her grit. They found the colony entrance half buried. Inside, the air was thin and freezing. A dozen people huddled near a dying heater, faces pale, breath fogging the air. Among them were 6 children wrapped in every blanket the colony owned. An older woman stepped forward. You came, she whispered, tears freezing on her cheeks. We're here, Mia said. Show us the reactor. The reactor room was deep underground, accessed by a narrow tunnel. Ice coated the walls. The core was sputtering, coolant lines frozen solid. It's not just broken, Mia said, examining the console. It's been sabotaged, Lila frowned. Who would do this? Raiders, the woman said. They came last week. Wanted our data crystals. When we refused, they wrecked the reactor and left us to die. Mia's jaw tightened. Okay, we fix it. For hours they worked. Mia thawed lines with a portable heater, while Lila used her armor's heat to melt ice blocking the vents. Together, they bypassed fried circuits, rerouted power, and coaxed the core back to life. It was slow, dangerous work. One wrong move could cause a meltdown. But they did it. As the reactor hummed back to full power, warmth began to spread through the colony. Lights brightened. The heater glowed red. The children cheered. That night, the colonists shared their last rations, a thin soup and hard bread. Mia and Leela ate with them, laughing as a little girl tried to braid Lila's hair. Before they left, the woman pressed a small crystal into Mia's hand. It's a memory stone, she said. It holds the voices of our ancestors. Take it, so you never forget why you help. Mia tucked it into her pocket. We won't. Back in space, they flew quietly for a while. Then Lila spoke. I used to think strength was in armor, in battle, in standing alone. But here, strength is in showing up. In staying. Mia nodded. Yeah. It's in the doing, not the saying. Their next call came from an unexpected place, the United Earth Alliance itself. A formal request. They wanted Mia and Lila to join a new initiative. The Bridge program. Its goal was simple: pair human and alien volunteers to build trust, share knowledge, and prevent future wars. They want us to train others, Mia said, reading the message aloud. Not just train, Lila said. Inspire. They accepted. The training base was on a peaceful moon called Alara, green and calm with wide fields and clear lakes. New pairs arrived every week. Humans with Zenthar healers, Terrans with Kailari scouts, even old enemies learning to work together. Mia taught navigation, survival, and how to read people. Lila taught armor control, emotional honesty, and the Kailari way of listening, not just with ears but with the heart. One student, a young human named June, struggled. She had been paired with a shy Kailari girl named Nira, but they barely spoke. "She won't look at me," June complained to Mia. "Maybe she's scared," Mia said. "Like you were," June frowned. "I wasn't scared." "Sure you were," Lila said gently, joining them. "Fear is not weakness. It is the first step toward courage." That evening, June brought Nira a cup of hot tea, human style. Nira accepted it, then offered a small light sculpture made from her own armor. They sat in silence watching the stars. By morning they were talking. Mia and Lila watched from a distance. "We're making a difference," Mia said. "Yes," Lila replied, "but the real difference is that we are happy." Weeks turned into months. The bridge program grew. Ships with mixed crews began patrolling the fringe, not to fight, but to help. Old tensions softened. New friendships formed. But peace is fragile. One day a distress call broke through. Alliance code read, "A research station near the Void Rim had gone dark. Last transmission. They're not human. They're something else." Mia and Lila were the closest. They arrived to silence. The station hung in orbit, lights off, hull intact. No signs of battle. No debris. "Too quiet," Mia muttered. They docked and entered. Inside, everything was in order. Cups on tables, screens still on, logs running. But no people. Then in the main lab they found them. The entire crew, 15 scientists, standing in a circle, unmoving. Eyes open but empty, like statues. Lila approached one. No pulse, no breath, but no injury. Suddenly the lead scientist turned her head, slowly, unnaturally. "You should not be here," the woman said, her voice flat, layered with something else. Lila's armor flared. "Leave her." The woman smiled, but it wasn't her smile. "We are many. We are coming," alarms blared. The station's systems rebooted on their own. Doors sealed. Lights turned red. "We've been lured," Mia said. From the vents, dark shapes began to crawl. Thin, insect-like, with too many eyes. Not mechanical. Not alive in the normal sense. Something between. Parasitic hive mind, Lila realized. They take hosts. Control them. They fought their way back to the ship. Lila shielding Mia with her armor, blasting the creatures with energy pulses. Mia fired her sidearm, each shot precise. They barely made it. As the Sarah's Hope launched, the station exploded behind them. Self-destruct triggered by the invaders. Back at Alara, they reported everything. The Alliance sent warships, but the Void Rim was empty. No trace of the hive, no bodies. Just silence. "They're testing us," Lila said. "Learning how we think. How we bond." Mia looked at her. "Then we stay ready." They returned to training, but now with a new lesson. Trust is powerful, but vigilance is necessary. True partnership means protecting each other, not just from enemies outside, but from shadows within. One evening, as they walked by the lake, Mia stopped. "Do you ever wonder if we're enough against something like that?" Lila took her hand. "Alone, no. But together, we are more than enough. Because we choose each other." Every day, Mia smiled. "Then let's keep choosing." The stars above were countless, cold, and full of unknowns. But on Alara, in that quiet moment, two women stood side by side. Not as hero and alien. Not as pilot and warrior, but as partners. Equals. Friends. And in that simple truth, they found the strongest armor of all.